Sam was in his office laying on a couch along the far wall. The 4 air were there with him. One was working on pulling string out of his arm and treating it. 2 others were treating an SFP clinging to life in the corner. The 4th was sitting in a chair as peoples came in to get scanned for the parasite. Sam touched his earbud. "Shineless, can you hear me?" "Yes. Go ahead, Sam." "I'm going to say it again. I do not like this plan. It can wait." He said, "You're injured. Your arm is limp, you idiot. I'm doing this with my family." "But it can wait. We have those things contained in the farm wing." "Yes, they are," she replied. "But they are getting smarter. Ask Orbit. We can see through the window they are doing things." She sighed. "We have a plan. We can do this. I can do this." "That's the thing," Sam said. "I don't know if you can do this. That is untested armor. We don't know your limits. It's madness. Just sheer nuts." "Okay, Sam. We won't go save the farms. Maybe we should just vent the air. Let everything freeze and die. The clams are probably contaminated anyway. The SFP missed the thing in that crawfish. It could lay eggs in the clams too. We don't know." "Orbit, open the door," Shineless shouted over the comm. "Yes, Captain," Orbit replied. The door to the farms hissed open. The horde of SFP husks turned and faced Shineless and the Infinigan as they entered. Crunch Crunch had plating on his body, bound to him and wrapped in cloth. His body was covered, and he looked out through a set of goggles. He held 2 sharp blades that glowed along the edges, and 2 arc guns. The other 7 Infinigan were dressed similarly, and each had different weapons. The horde spread out across the shallow water, crunching clams as they moved. Wisps of fine, black, shiny hair extended from the arms of one and reached into the water, pulling clams apart and fusing the shells into its body. Several zombies around it began to do the same. Shineless charged. The Infinigan let loose with their cannons as she sank her sword into the foremost. Its body stopped the blade. She flicked a switch on the handle and the blade started glowing blue and sank deeper. The zombie sizzled and fell as the blade hit the lumpy core. 3 others dropped around her as blasts hit home. Shineless looked back at her dad. "Keep the blasts low. Don't hit the ceiling. It's reinforced, but we don't want to test it." He bobbed in acknowledgement. They continued forward. The zombies flung threads at them, but they were shot or cut down. One in the back pulled together meat from another and clams into a long mace. It swung and struck Shineless in the chest. She fell flat, water pouring in through the seams in her suit. Black wires swam like eels through the water, closing in on her. Crunch Crunch leapt, landing on the mace wielder. His knives sunk deep, and he held firmly to them. His other 2 heads were nose against the thing's body, and he began firing into it. Arcs of plasma swelled into the body, burning 2 holes into it and cooking the inside. It fell face first into the water, its wandering tendrils halted. Crackletooth lent his hand to Shineless and helped her up out of the water. He leaned on him as she dumped out her gauntlets. "Farm 6 clear." Crunch Crunch walked over beside her. He leaned his head into her side and she leaned back and hugged him. Sam listened to the fight and could make out parts of it on the holodesk playing out across the room. The air was still operating, having to cut out a string that had buried into his arm. "This will hurt," the doctor said. "A lot." Sam tensed as the heat blade cut into the afflicted area. "Orbit?" "Yes, sir." "What kind of access does Shineless have?" "You mean in regards to me?" Orbit asked. "Yes, exactly that." "Truthfully, sir." The AI paused for effect. "I have several strings of paradoxical code I've been dealing with in regards to her. Captain Hideaway had me specifically made for her, even using her son as my model. I was made, bonded to her, her voice, her DNA, her movements, how she walks, how she likes her pancakes. Everything I am was specifically grown to serve her on her ship." The purple boy appeared as a hologram beside Sam. "I am hers, Sam. Yet I know this girl is not her. I know you are highest-ranking personnel from my ship, not her. So I am conflicted." Sam closed his eyes and thought. "If we had conflicting ideas on something, who would you side with?" The purple boy shook his head. "Please don't allow that to happen, sir." Sam sighed. "How's she doing?" "They've cleared 2 more rooms, sir. More of the creatures are manufacturing handheld weapons and have mounted some resistance. Once they get me sewn up, I'm coming up to the control room. How are they doing up there? The SFP have been sluggish. Their nursery and restaurants are safe, but they have lost quite a few of their number in the farms. It is affecting their cognition. The grazers are scared and can't watch most of what is happening. Kill-All has actually done well, coordinating several groups via the comms. I'm impressed with its skills commanding combat. That's one blessing to take from this. Shineless was marching their way through the 6th consecutive room of parasite-controlled farms. She stood in the long field of wheat and stopped. The field of waist-high green struck her and she smiled. Crackletooth walked up beside her. "It is an odd organism, isn't it?" "What? This?" she asked. "Yes, this green wheat. It doesn't shine. It's like you. Smells bad like you too." He clacked his teeth in humor. She laughed, then stopped. She punched him in the shoulder. "You armpit. You stink worse than me." He bobbed his head. "Probably do. At least we smell better than these dead things." She looked down at a melted grazer. "It's sad. They were just here helping on the farms. Now they're dead." He bobbed again. "The amazing thing is that we ever live at all." He continued through the farm toward the far door in the distance. She looked up, shouldered her blade, and followed. Sam made it to the control room. He took the central seat and started getting the displays set to cameras he wanted. He stopped on one looking in on Tomato Farm 3. "Orbit, what is going on in that room?" "I have been watching them, sir. They have just been standing there looking at the camera for some time now. It has been odd." Others in the control room stepped behind him and looked. There were 8 reanimated SFP and several grazers who looked intact, except for a black lump floating beside their heads, with tendrils entering them. "Orbit, how are the teams doing?" "They are nearly complete, sir. 2 more clusters until they get to that tomato farm on screen." Sam looked at the creatures on screen. "Orbit, does that farm have functional speakers?" "Yes, sir." "Put me through." "You are transmitting, sir." "Hello, can you hear me?" The parasite-controlled creatures all moved in unison, focusing on the camera. The grazer in front then spoke, its body moving as if it were a marionette. "You are the Sam?" "Yes." "Who are you?" "I do not know. I am new." "Are you the parasites in the bodies I am seeing?" Sam asked. "Yes." The grazer spoke. "Why are you killing my people?" "Nature. I kill. I eat, I grow, same as you." "Well, soon we are going to open those doors behind you and kill you for what you've done." The lump stayed still as it had the grazer move its head side to side. "I do not want to die. You do not want to kill me." "Yeah, I really do. I want you dead. I want you burned and gone." "You want this one. She is Bawa. She and her people work for you. You care if she lives," it said. "You can't use the dead to barter," Sam replied. "She is not dead. I just found them in storage protecting plants. I have thought now. I can feel parts of myself burning. I do not want to burn. I offer a trade." "You are trying to negotiate now after all the death you've caused?" "Yes," it replied. "You do not kill me. I give you these people back. Every ship that was capable left an hour ago. There is nowhere for you to go, and you aren't staying here. You enter, I kill them. You won't kill them." Sam looked at Baoa. He knew it was true. "Orbit." "Yes, sir." Orbit appeared beside him. "I have no idea what to do. I can't kill the grazers." "You can say you agree, have it free the grazers, and then kill the once the grazers are safe." Sam thought for a moment with his eyes shut. "Orbit, how far along is the brig?" "It is ready for atmosphere. I just haven't allotted any to it yet." The AI responded. "I want it airtight, filled with air. Have the box spiders modify it to contain whatever this thing is." "You are going to keep it alive, sir. Probably stupid as fuck decision, but yes. I can't kill Boa, and I can't go back on my word. Not out here." "I understand, sir. I'm putting it into motion." Shineless and the Infinigan escorted the 10 husks through the station. The way to the brig was open, but all side corridors were blocked. The husks entered into the large, dark room. Shineless stared at them until the heavy steel doors shut. She touched her comm. "They are in Sam," Thank you, Shineless. I want the rooms double-swept and all bodies cremated. She sighed. Yes, sir. She turned off her comm. She looked at Crunch Crunch. It's hard to believe we were scared of this guy. Crunch Crunch patted her sword. It's easy to have confidence when armed. Remember, he is armed far greater than you. He bobbed and started walking back. Wait, what do you mean? She walked up beside him. You are strong, girl, but you are human. She laughed. Yeah, I know. He tilted his head. No, you don't. I think you are only beginning to learn. The preserver was analyzing the parasite DNA, running growth projections when something moved across the lab. He spun around a corner and found Spitzlittle looking over his grow pods. What are you doing here? Don't touch my things, thief. She sneered at him. I'm not stealing. I came asking. The preserver walked back towards his data displayer. Ask then and begone. She hopped onto a table next to him and looked over his shoulders. I need my family. Do you have them? She whispered. One of his hands reached over to the next console and began typing, one of his eyes focused and keeping track of it. Yes. I have 22 near relatives of you with mental maps. Why? Sam has given me a task. To complete it, I need my family. Bring them back as you did my batch. I am in poor standing as it is. I cannot do this without orders from Sam. The Shineless situation? She asked. That is correct. He started typing with all three hands on the console displaying the parasite. The season is very near. I cannot be risking my standing. But if you have permission, you could do it. The preserver raised up to full height and Spun looked at her. If you get permission, I will do it. Yes, if you get permission, my standing may even rise higher. He likes your people. He lowered back and began typing again. Be gone. Go get permissions if you want what you ask. She hopped down. I'll do just that. Sam was looking over the holodesk in his office. Guachuk and the totem drone were with him. The three were monitoring the progress of the farm sterilization. Guachuk, in his tube, spoke through his speaker. This will hurt clam production significantly. The surviving SFP are slower. They are having to reseed the farms from scratch. Our Stickian revenue will be down for at least 4 spans. An arm coiled out of a circle on one of the totem's sides. It touched the holodesk, zooming in on a portion of the predicted outer ring. Predicted prices of remaining clams will rise. We can move the SFP kitchens here into the new restaurant wing ahead of schedule. Sell other meats for less and up the prices on the clams. Sell to higher-end clients. Rebrand. Sam nodded. We can move the grazers over there also. They're getting good at making Italian cuisine. That's 2 restaurants we can have. The Infinigan are doing well with the repair shop. I will over them a spot on the ring next to the new arcade. Sam spun the ring a portion, highlighting a spot between the food court and the shops. Here, in the transition space, I will offer Grack a new spot for the hot dam. The planned auditorium will be across from it. He spun the ring a bit more past the 30 designated shops and tapped a large space. This set of rooms near the hotel, I want to open a casino. He looked at Guachuk. Are any within the consortium a fan of games of chance? Guachuk typed inside his tube. Yes. Many of us are fond of good bets. We are already fond of your exchange. The current disruptions to your station have proved some bets and faulted others. Very good turns of play. Sam nodded. Good. I'll have Orbit start another company and sell shares to fund the casino's construction. I'll utilize the Margo and buy several more shipments of alloys. The totem retracted its arm and spoke. Downloaded data on casinos from your AI. Curious. It is more in line with our views on trade. Win-win for the owner of the gaming house. I have decided to barter for more clams so as to purchase stock in this casino venture. Sam smiled. Gladly. Good to hear you're wanting to become vested in our venture out here. Our presence here is sign of our investment already. Sam nodded. He zoomed in on the brig. What do you plan to do with the infection? Guachuk asked. I don't know yet. Sam thought for a moment. It will stay where it is until I can think of something better. The totem touched the brig on the holodesk, zooming in and activating a live infrared feed of the locked room. The 10 hollowed-out creatures housing parasites paced in a circle around the room. So long as it remains, It is a threat to the station. Word has spread off station. It is affecting tourism and our funds, it said. I'm aware, and I will deal with it, Sam said. Unlikely, the totem replied. That sleep cycle, Sam's sleep was troubled. He turned with nightmares, pain, and memories of the recent days. The image of Baoa in the air ICU stuck in his mind, replaying him standing there looking over her bed while she was healing. Bao opened her eyes in the dream and grabbed his hand. Kill them! Kill the fucking thing! She pleaded, her hand digging into his. Kill it! Do not allow it to live! The dream Sam kept repeating. I gave them my word. Spare them, and they spare you. Spare them, and they spare you. Spare them, and they spare you. A figure in a yellow cloak crept up beside Sam, staring down at Bawa with him. The thing in the corner of Sam's eye spoke. Terrors of the void have no fear, neither of death or each other. Dream Sam turned, looking into the darkness within the yellow hood. Sam's heart slowed. Time slowed. Then Sam woke up, sweating profusely. He was standing in the dark of his dining room. Orbit! The purple boy hologram appeared beside Sam. Yes, sir. The crawfishian had been here several times, right? Yes, sir. It had visited numerous times, trying every dish it could stomach each time. Sam caught his breath. On visit, I think I passed it in the halls while jogging. The crawfish was walking with someone else. Do you have logs of this? Looking now, sir. Orbit flickered for a moment. Log found. Yes, you did pass the crawfishian. No, there was no other persons with it. Sam paced the dining room. No, there was. There was something, it spoke to me. It gave me a headache. You did mention this to me, but there is no record of any other creature there that day, sir. Sam sighed. Doesn't matter. It was just a dream. I'm going to go shower. All right, sir. Enjoy, Orbit said, and popped out of sight. Shineless was helping keep watch in the fields while the SFP and grazers dug up and carted the soil to the new ship bay forges. Other and Finnegan kept watch with her, some wearing new pieces of armor Spitzlittle had forged. Young SFP clusters, smaller than their elders, worked in the sterilized farms, reseeding. Shineless walked through the airlock into Wheat Farm 12. Crackletooth kept close beside her. You're leaning on your sword again, he said. I can lean if I want, she replied. I know. He bobbed his head. I just know it means you're wearing out. You've been out here watching over things for near a cycle. You need sleep. She shook her head. Hard to sleep with those things still on the station. She kicked some mud. I don't want to wake up to everyone I love attempting to rip me apart or use me as a new habitat. I understand that, Crackletooth said. He did what he thought was right. She huffed in her helmet. But it's not right. That thing needs burned along with all our crops. Crackletooth tilted his head. No, I know. We all know. We live only because of Sam. You are thinking like us right now. You need to think like a human. I am a human. All I have ever done is think like a human. Filth mouth, he said. You lie to me. You lie to you. You think like those you were programmed by, and by those who raised you these last many cycles. She stood straight, heaving her sword onto her shoulder. You saying I'm not a human? He tilted his head. You have the flesh of one. You need to get the mind of one. She nodded. I will admit I don't know much about what I am. Orbit chimed in. I have stores of data, ma'am. I'm happy to abridge them into a teaching program for you. Oh, hi, Orbit. You can do that for me? Shineless asked. Gladly, ma'am. Sam was leaving the air ICU after checking on the comatose Baoa when he ran into Spitzlittle in the main trade corridor. She stood in his path and stared at him. Sam, I need to ask you a favor. Go ahead. You've helped us all this last week. Name it. I went to the preserver to have some of my family regrown to help me on your projects. He refused, saying you would be mad at him. He will not do it without your permission. Sam nodded. That is a good sign of discipline coming from him. He touched his earcom. Orbit put me through to the preserver. Hello, Sam. The preserver's translated voice came through. Yes. I'm here with Spitzlittle. She has requested some family members regrown. Are you able to do this? Of course I can do it, the preserver replied. Do you want me to do it? Do you see any problems that would arise from it? Sam asked. Yes. What kind of problems? You would have more Infinigan on your station, the preserver said. Sounds like the opposite of a problem to me. Do as she asks this once, Sam said. Orbit end comm channel. Comm closed, sir. Orbit answered. Sam looked down at Spitzlittle. Easy enough. You should get your family back shortly. You gonna cause trouble with them? Spitzlittle bobbed her ears up and down. I hope so. She turned around and walked back towards her section of the station.